Okay, welcome to this explainer. We drive past enormous construction sites literally all the time, right? But have you ever wondered what actually happens behind the scenes when things inevitably go off the rails? I mean, when millions of dollars are on the line, people don't just sit around and argue. No way. They use forensic mathematics to untangle the mess. Let's dive right in and see how these massive disputes are actually resolved in the real world.
Picture this. You've got a critical, high-stakes commercial project. Let's call it the Grand Bay Hotel. It's this massive 12-story development right in the middle of the central business district. Now, it was perfectly planned to take exactly 12 months to build. But suddenly, the project is bleeding time. It's running exactly 56 days late.
With penalties running at $3,000 every single day, we've basically got a financial crime scene on our hands. And the million-dollar question is, who is at fault? Was it the employer changing their mind? Or maybe the contractor just made some major mistakes? Someone has to foot this massive bill, which, by the way, is racking up to well over $150,000 in penalties alone.
To figure this out, we're going to logically walk through this investigation step by step. We'll quickly cover the crime scene, the forensic tool, the investigation, a little twist, and finally, the verdict. Let's get started.
Step 1. The crime scene. So our starting point here is just establishing the cold, hard baseline facts of the Grand Bay Hotel contract before all the chaos started. Under these strict FIDIC international construction rules, the stakes are absolutely huge. We're looking at a contract value of $18.5 million with a rigid 12-month planned duration. And most importantly, we have liquidated damages, or LADs, set at $3,000 per calendar day. Literally, every single delayed day carries a massive, predefined financial hit for the main contractor, Greenfield Construction Co., if they happen to be the ones to blame.
Moving right along to Step 2, the forensic tool.
To figure out exactly who is responsible for those 56 missing days, analysts use an industry gold standard method to basically cut through all the finger pointing. It's called time impact analysis, or TIA. This is our forensic tool. It relies on really simple step-by-step logic. Just imagine taking the perfect original schedule, freezing it right before a delay happened, and dropping in that single disruptive event, like, say, a late drawing or a massive storm. Then you just recalculate the math to see exactly how many days the finish line got pushed back. It mathematically proves exactly how each isolated event messed with that final completion date.
As you can see, TIA is just about taking reality and inserting it into the original plan to see exactly where the schedule broke. Because TIA isolates each delay step by step, it pushes the critical path forward in a way that totally eliminates guesswork. There's no he said, she said, and that is exactly why it's the most widely accepted method in these strict FIDIC-based disputes.
Which brings us to Part 3, the investigation.
Now let's look at how an analyst actually conducts this step-by-step investigation out in the real world. First up, we gather our evidence. We define the scope under the contract, pull together all the project documents, things like daily site records, the baseline schedules, request logs, variation orders, the whole shebang. From there, we establish the baseline critical path, basically what was supposed to happen. Then we plot out the actual as-built dates, what actually happened. Bam! We now have a clear, indisputable timeline of events.
Next, we identify and categorize the specific delay events. We drop them right into the schedule, applying our time impact analysis logic one by one to see how that completion date moves around. After that, we assess something called concurrency, which, hang tight, we'll define in just a second. And finally, we quantify exactly who owes time and who owes money.
Look at how the messy, chaotic reality of construction is just neatly categorized right here. The analyst found 6 total events, but let's zoom in on a few major ones. We've got late structural drawings causing a 21-day delay. That one is definitely the employer's fault. Then there's unforeseen rock during piling, causing 14 days. That one is categorized as neutral, but it does grant the contractor an extension of time, or EOT. Then, oh boy, we have a late tower crane by the contractor. That grants 0 EOT days. This entire table acts as a beautifully clear register of the project's timeline, assigning responsibility with pure logic.
Okay, Part 4, the twist.
Just when it seems mathematically straightforward, right? We hit a massive knot in our timeline. Because what happens when 2 things go wrong at the exact same time? Between week 14 and week 18, we get this overlap. Over on the left, we have delay event 03. The employer formally instructed a massive variation. They actually decided to add an entirely new basement level to the hotel. But on the right, at the exact same time, we have delay event 04. The contractor spectacularly failed to mobilize their tower crane on time. So, the crucial point here is how this concurrency is handled under the contract's rules. Because these two events overlapped for exactly 21 days, the rules state the contractor does get an extension of time. They are protected from those brutal $3,000 a day penalties because, hey, the employer was also delaying the project with that basement addition anyway. But here's the catch. They do not get paid their daily prolongation overhead costs for that 21-day overlapping period. It's essentially a compromise. You get the time, but you definitely don't get the money if you were also messing up.
Finally, Step 5, the verdict.
Let's move to the final calculations and see how this entire investigation translates into actual dollars and cents. Through the step-by-step logic of the time impact analysis, the contractor successfully proved there were 42 net days of pure employer-caused delay on the critical path, completely separate from their own mistakes. And for those 42 days, they are entitled to recover their verified prolongation costs. That totals over $117,000 for staff, $50,000 for site offices, and so on, bringing their valid claim to a solid $285,600 in employer liability.
However, the contractor isn't walking away completely clean here. Because the time impact analysis isolates every single event, it clearly showed the contractor was solely responsible for a separate 14-day delay on that late tower crane. Therefore, the contractor still has to pay the predefined liquidated damages for those 14 days. At $3,000 a day, that means they owe a $42,000 penalty.
The final math is just satisfyingly simple. Subtracting their $42,000 penalty from their $285,600 entitlement, the net financial verdict due to the contractor is exactly $243,600.
And honestly, this is the true power of this methodology. A seemingly chaotic, highly contested 56-day delay on a massive commercial construction site is logically unpacked, quantified, and completely resolved. By removing all the emotion and just inserting simple step-by-step logic into the project's timeline, analysts can actually find the truth. It really changes how you look at the world around you, doesn't it? Keep this logic in mind the next time you see a massive construction site sitting idle behind a chain-link fence. Someone, somewhere, is pulling daily diaries to find out who pays. So the real question is, if it were your money on the line, could you find the true critical path?